And tonight we're getting some new details about that Trump-Trudeau dinner from two people who were at the table. We are told that when Trudeau told President-elect Trump that new tariffs would kill the Canadian economy, Trump joked to him that if Canada can't survive without ripping off the U.S. to the tune of $100 billion a year, then maybe Canada should become the 51st state and Trudeau could become its governor. Right.
And that's where we stand with that. When we come back, the latest on the drama in the House of Commons, what the visit to Mar-a-Lago really meant for Justin Trudeau. And what about that Patrick Brown story? More about that when we come back.
So we are in a very precarious position in this country. We need political change, but we also need the resolve to resist.
Yes, please like the station. Like it right now if you can. Share it with your friends and family. Let's get those numbers up. We've been doing really well lately. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your concern, and it's really, really appreciated. A small station like this can't get by without the active support of the people watching it. And subscribe if you want to, if you can. Resubscribe if you must, and it's really, really appreciated. So, talked to you yesterday about a couple of things that I want to revisit because remember this: the Patrick Brown scandal never came up yesterday in the House, but there are a series of interviews done. And Patrick Brown, guess where Patrick Brown's going? To that infamous House Un-Canadian Activities Committee, or shall I say the Public Safety Committee or the Public Security Committee, which of course is examining misinformation and disinformation and Russian agents under the bed. That's what it's concerned about. And of course, Indian government interference. You're going to see a lot of Indian government interference now over Patrick Brown because it's a great distraction for Justin Trudeau. This is exactly where he wants to go. This is why he flies down to Mar-a-Lago and came back with absolutely nothing. Now, we showed you the clip yesterday of Dominique LeBlanc, the public safety minister, suggesting that Donald Trump and Justin Trudeau are the best of friends. Here is Donald Trump going out to the car with them at the SUV, the gas-guzzling SUV, and, of course, asking what kind of music they wanted to hear throughout the evening. Sounds like just a wonderful friendship. But, of course, it is all a lie because they came back with absolutely nothing. So as just can always be, the governor. So Trump joked about making Canada a 51st state during the Trudeau meeting. And that, of course, was really all Justin Trudeau came home with. So there's no guarantee that as long as Justin Trudeau is Prime Minister of Canada, we're going to see this 25% tariff eliminated or reduced. I tell you what we are going to see is continued chaos. And that's what's going on in the House of Commons. We'll have more about the chaos in the House of Commons. What's going on? Because I'm sure you're as confused as I was yesterday afternoon watching what's going on in question. Justin Trudeau not there for question period yesterday. We'll watch a bit of that. But first, how are the Americans responding to Justin Trudeau going down the Mar-a-Lago? Well, once again, his liberal defenders, there's still people in the U.S. media who think Justin Trudeau would have been a dream for the United States, even better than Kamala Harris. And how unfortunate it is that he's at the end of his tenure. But this is interesting. And of course, we'll also discuss the Biden pardon of his son, Hunter Biden.
Hell is freezing over because Bernie and the Angle are also on the same page. Joining me now, Jason Miller, senior advisor for the Trump-Vance transition. Jason, Take us inside the dining room. That photo of Trudeau and Trump, I mean, I'm sorry, but it was very funny. It looked like his child next to him. But this was after Trudeau has basically destroyed parts of Canada with this hideous immigration policy that's flooded Canada with foreigners, much to the chagrin of a growing number of Canadians.
Yeah, Laura, this is a big part of it, but also keep in mind what President Trump is talking about are two very simple principles that everybody can relate to, whether you're Democrat or Republican or independent, if you're American or even if you're not an American. Peace and prosperity. Those are the two big things that President Trump has been pushing and what he's going to bring in this second term. Now, I want to go back for a moment when he talked about the Democrats, and as President Trump would always say, the misinformation and disinformation that they've been pushing for really the last 8 years. You can say ever since he came down the golden escalator, when they would attack President Trump and this whole threat to democracy nonsense, they were trying to cover up what they were doing to President Trump. And I think one of the genius things that he has done so far, take a look at his nominees, take a look at Pam Bondi, Kash Patel. The focus to get politics out of government is really important. You're going to see that across all these nominees in his administration.
I like the fact that President-elect Trump repeatedly uses the word pragmatism, common sense. Because if people hear conservative, they maybe say, well, I'm not conservative. But then they hear common sense, like, oh, I get it. Like, we got to put our needs first, then maybe we can be better at helping other countries, and we can be stronger and have a more efficient military. That takes it away from the old left-right dynamic. And I think a lot of young people, especially ones I talked to down in Florida over the holiday, they're feeling that. And it's more fun to have common sense in the end.
Well, it is. And this is how President Trump was able to bring such results in that first term. It's common sense that's going to secure the border. It's common sense that's going to bring peace to the Middle East. It's common sense to give us this great economy that cuts through these all the traditional blocks that are in Washington and in Congress. But we know exactly how President Trump is going to govern in this second term. And I tell you, Laura, there's a massive advantage to where we are in 2024 versus 2016. By Thanksgiving, President Trump had his entire cabinet built out. So many of these top nominees in place. He had his chief of staff, Susie Wiles, already named, ready to go. It was way down the road for President Trump to be in this position in 2016. What this means is the policy team,
ready
folks
to go.
like Stephen Miller and folks like Vince Haley can step in on day one and get this done. I'm excited.
Vince Haley, a proud graduate of my law school class. He's awesome. I love Vince. He's one of my favorites. Jason, would Donald Trump accept a pardon from Joe Biden?
At this point, I don't know what Joe Biden is going to pull. I think it's nonsense. If it's some aspect of some PR play, he might try to do it. But President Trump did absolutely.
Try that again. Sorry, I had a mic problem. There's no indication that Justin Trudeau is having any traction at all with the Trump administration, the incoming Trump administration. So this does not bode well at all for Justin Trudeau. And it's going to be interesting. And if you're watching the Biden pardon, I did a story yesterday for the Post Millennial saying that when the Democrats were worried about Donald Trump pardoning the wrong person, they actually considered legislation that would force the president to go through Congress before any pardon was issued. Interestingly enough, the author of that bill, which was written, introduced in the House in 2019, but was never voted on, it died with the 2020 Congress, was Adam Schiff, who's now a senator-elect from California. This is the SOB who lied constantly about the Russia collusion hoax, said he had secret information that nobody else had access to because he was the chairman of the Intelligence Committee at the time, lied about having secret information, lied about knowing that Donald Trump had colluded with the Russians. Same Adam Schiff introduced this bill and dropped the bill as soon as Joe Biden became president because he did not want to interfere with Joe Biden's pardons. So Joe Biden consistently said he's not going to pardon his son, Hunter Biden. After Thanksgiving, he pardons him. Why? It's got more to do with just a tax evasion or unauthorized gun ownership. It's got to do with Hunter Biden's tenure as one of the directors of Burisma, the Ukrainian oil or the energy company, Burisma, where Hunter Biden, with no expertise, no experience in the energy industry, is made a director on the board. And there is such corruption in Ukraine, such corruption in the Biden administration, that Joe Biden doesn't want any of this to come out. And that's the reason for all of this. Let's just listen to a bit more of this. Then we'll get to the guts of what's happening in Canada.
Wrong. That's why everything is disappearing. That's why he's focused on actually serving for this second term here. It's the reason why he won with such a mandate. American public saw this as nonsense.
Wait, would President Trump say no to a pardon, though? Come on.
No, I'm not going to go and put words in the president's mouth, but everyone sees exactly what's going on. This is a complete media manipulation by Joe Biden. And quite frankly, the American public does not want to hear what Morning Joe and Mika have to say. They want to hear what's going to happen to secure the border and make their bank accounts bigger. That's why he won.
And that's what it comes down to. Now, what's happening in the House of Commons, you're asking? And I've got a great series of clips to explain this at this point. I got to find it for you. My apologies. We did not have this downloaded when I went on the air. Yeah, and before we start here, this is a worst chaos I've ever seen in the House of Commons. And here's what it comes down to for the Liberals. They want to get the business of the House going again by December the 10th, because otherwise Parliament will shut down because the bills aren't being paid, because they've run out of money. You see this happen in the Congress all of the time, and the battle between the Democrats and the Republicans over who's right about this. Now, yesterday I told you Pierre Poilievre had the brilliant idea of introducing a non-confidence motion based on what Jagmeet Singh had already said. And it's important to go over this again to understand exactly what's going on, because this is really a game of chicken that's going on. So Poilievre is saying, let's have a motion based on Jagmeet Singh's words. And it's something Jagmeet Singh can't really disagree with, because he's already said this. So how can he possibly nullify or desecrate what he's already said? So let's watch this, and we'll get back to that in a minute.
Step right back.
We can film now.
Yeah, but you guys don't need to be standing over yelling at him. He came over to stand down. Guys, look in the mirror.
So here we have 3 NDP MPs ganging up on Conservative MP Michael Barrett, who was on this show. And conceivably, I think this is about the Conservative motion, that the NDP are mad that they're being forced into a corner about. This is fascinating.
Why? And he's taking this in the house. He is taping this in the house.
I can.
No, it's too late. Really?
That's fine. You can record.
Now, Michael Barrett put this on his X file. And here it is. I mean, and the speakers come down to break up the fight.
It's all fine.
He's sitting down.
You're here for another month, you're gone.
You guys are at his seat. This is my seat. Right. This is his own seat. And they're telling me.
Right.
Yelling point down at him. He is sitting down.
They're not worth it. They're not worth it.
You're here for another month, you're gone.
So ridiculous.
Now, here's how crazy things have become. Peter Julian, which is the NDP House leader, And he's actually making allegations that the Conservatives are coming to question period drunk. No, I'm not making this up. I remember when I worked at the House, people used to always say that the Bloc would come to question period after having a drink or two. And yeah, people said that because it helped them do their questions. It gave them a little more animation, gave them a little more flexibility, if you will. But that's something I've never heard leveled at any conservative government or official opposition ever, that they would come into the House drunk. But here's Peter Julian saying some conservative MPs arrived drunk at the House of Commons last Thursday night for the GST relief vote. They screamed, disrupted proceedings. Parliamentary pages were removed from the unsafe opposition lobby in most workplaces. Showing up intoxicated is grounds for dismissal. Now, I know Peter Julian, he's a bit of a crackpot at times, but why he would stoop to this level and suggest that there was, like, the opposition lobby was full of a bunch of drunks, just incredible. And I really found this one hard to believe. But of course, that's the toxic atmosphere in the House right now.
In light of the fact that the Leader of the Opposition has given notice of a motion for debate on the Conservative Opposition Day scheduled for today, I'd like to give him an opportunity to debate that motion. As such, I seek unanimous consent of the House for the following motion: that notwithstanding any standing order, special order, or usual practice of the House, that A, at noon today, the proceedings in relation to the debate on the motion in relation to the question of privilege standing in the name of the member for Regina Capel and the question of privilege standing in the name of the member for Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands and Rideau Lakes shall be deemed adjourned until Wednesday, December 4th, 2024, and B, if proceedings in relation to the debate on the motion in relation to the question of privilege standing in the name of the member for Regina Capel and the question of privilege standing in the name of the member for Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands and Rideau Lakes are not disposed of at the ordinary hour of daily adjournment on Wednesday, December 4th, 2024, these proceedings shall be deemed adjourned until Friday, December 6th, 2024.
All those opposed to the Honourable Minister moving the motion will please say nay. There is not unanimous consent. The Honourable...
Now, so what Karina Gould, who is one of the people in the House of Commons I despise the most because of her role in the invitation to a former Waffen-SS soldier to the House of Commons, and then after she had that role, she decided she wanted to completely extirpate the historical record. That was one of the most odious things I've ever seen any member of Parliament, especially a government House leader, ever attempt to do. But here's Karina Gould trying to trick the opposition into saying, okay, all you have to do is agree to this. You've got your supply days. You can introduce your opposition motion. You can introduce your non-confidence motion. But if you do, we're back on track. The business of the House is open again. And that means we don't have to deal with the Green Slush Fund. Remember what precipitated this whole incident was the government's refusal to pass on the uncensored, the unredacted documents relating to the Green Slush Fund from the Auditor General to the RCMP. That's why for almost 2 months now, there's been no government House business going on, because the Conservatives are insisting those documents be forwarded to the RCMP. Now, had Poilievre said, okay, I'm going to introduce my common sense resolution, which I'll read to you in a minute, that opportunity would have been lost. The Green Slush Fund would have been buried. So now we're looking at the possibility of a opposition motion, non-confidence motion, possibly for Monday. So here's where I'm at. This could also conceivably happen on Thursday, which is the day I'm traveling. So I have been watching this unfold now for the last couple of years. I don't want to miss this government falling, I can tell you that.
Parliamentary Secretary to the Leader of the Government to the House of Commons, rising on a point of order.
Speaker, I don't know why the Conservatives would deny leave in order to be able to debate the motion they said that they wanted to debate today.
That is sounding a lot like debate.
Know why the Conservatives would deny leave in order to be able to debate the motion they said that they wanted to debate today.
He also talks about wanting to hold an opposition day, but we gave him an opportunity today and he ran away from it.
This is a sick joke! No, Mr. Speaker! They refuse to debate their own motion! They will not debate help for Canadians! They will not debate tax cuts! They will not debate any support for Canadians in this House of Commons! This is a sick joke!
Now, that, of course, was the former government House leader who's going absolutely berserk here because he really thought the Conservatives were going to take the bait and they would no longer have to worry about the Green Slush Fund and the documents getting to the RCMP and that the issue would be buried. The Liberals want the Green Slush Fund issue completely buried. They want people to talk about India. Now, the government tried to distract that with India planning all kinds of mayhem against Khalistani extremists in this country. That didn't work because the Privy Council office came out and said Justin Trudeau is wrong. There's no evidence. The RCMP is wrong. They haven't even explained how in the hell Justin Trudeau could say the RCMP had evidence against the Indian government, or the RCMP hasn't even explained how it could lie about having evidence against the Indian government and go public with that. This whole thing is just, this government reeks of corruption. Now, what did Jagmeet Singh? Of course, this is the man with the pension blues. He's only keeping this government alive so long as he can get his pension in by March. So opposition business will happen this week. And the information you need to send direct. Greg Fergus has scheduled opposition days for Thursday and Friday, meaning we could have a non-confidence motion on Thursday or Friday. But it could also happen Monday. So we're all waiting to find out exactly what's going to happen here. And your guess right now is as good as mine. And I'm absolutely fascinated to find out what's going to happen here, because I don't think the Conservatives know right now where they're going to go with this and how they're going to go with this. So the decision follows an unsuccessful attempt this morning by Liberal House Leader Karina Gould to temporarily stop a filibuster that has taken up much of the Commons' time for nearly 2 months. The Conservatives signaled an intent to introduce a non-confidence motion quoting NDP leader Jagmeet Singh's criticism of the Liberals in a bid to get his caucus to vote to bring down the minority government. But the Tories rejected Gould's offer to have that motion heard today, with the party saying it would only end its filibuster if the Liberals provided documents they're demanding, or if the NDP agrees to vote non-confidence in the government. So that, my friend, is where, my friends, that's where we're at. This is an impasse, and it's a bit of a game of chicken to see who's going to blink, who's going to move first. And Jagmeet Singh, of course, the most cowardly member of the House of Commons, he doesn't not want to force an election before he gets his pension. And as I said earlier, The cash crunch comes on December 10th. That's next week. I think it's Tuesday. Yeah, it's a week today. A week today, the money runs out for the government. That's why the Liberals are so in panic mode right now. Because they are really seriously worried that they're not going to get their timing right. So the House of Commons is in chaos. It's been in chaos for quite some time. And that's where we're at right now. So all I can say is stay tuned. I'm going to end with, I think, one of Poilievre's best statements in the House yesterday. I haven't even got time to go into some of the QP. But once again, because Trudeau wasn't there, I thought if Trudeau was there, he would have brought up the so-called India interference in the Patrick Brown campaign, which is one of the biggest jokes I have ever seen. Nothing could have saved Patrick Brown's campaign. Not India, not Russia, not China interference could have saved Patrick Brown's campaign. He was not the person Conservatives wanted to lead their party.
Weak Prime Minister has lost control of spending. The Auditor General reports that his government gave out $3.5 billion of so-called CEBA loans to companies that did not qualify, a total of 77,000 of them. That's 10% of all recipients. On top of that, they then gave a massive implementation contract to high-priced consultants at Accenture who cost $200 million and farmed out a lot of the work to Brazil. Isn't it more proof that this Prime Minister is not worth the cost or the corruption?
Yeah, I'd say so. So if I had a prediction to make right now, here on this Tuesday morning, I would say there's a good likelihood that this government could fall by next Monday or Tuesday. But no matter what happens, Justin Trudeau is not going to be the Prime Minister who's going to save Canada from the tariffs. And Donald Trump has no affection for Justin Trudeau. And I think as delusional as the Liberals are, as delusional as people like Dominique LeBlanc are, I think they realize that their time is over. They are spent as a government. And there's very little that they can do at this point to resuscitate this government. It's dead. It's dead in the water. And that's something I don't think they're even willing to quite understand, but the realization is coming through at last. Before we go, I want to show you our little, it is Christmas coming up, believe it or not. It doesn't feel like it right now, does it? But Christmas is 3 weeks away. Yeah, 3 weeks away. So, like I say, I will be traveling Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, but I will be broadcasting every day. And I'm going out to visit family in the West, especially my mom, who is in a nursing home. I've shared this with you before. I hope please I beg your tolerance of this. And she's not doing well, but it's in time. Time is running out, so I'm going out to see her while there is still time, and have to take care of some very important things. But I will be keeping up with the news, keeping up with as much writing as I can possibly do. But I made a commitment to do these broadcasts every day, barring a natural disaster or other such thing. And I will be continuing to do that. So thanks for your support. Thanks for being a friend of this station. Thanks for being part of the Krayden's Right family. It's always appreciated. And we will be back again tomorrow. I'm not leaving till Thursday night, but I'll be back again tomorrow here from Ottawa with all the news you need to know. And let's all continue to resolve to resist. And hopefully we're going to see this corrupt Liberal government fall within the next week. Thanks for watching.